Do you think you could say your name and your age and if you're comfortable
No.
telling? Okay, well then your name.
Justin.
Justin, what's your last name?
Nakai.
Nakai. How do you spell that?
Nakai.
Okay, cool. And have you lived in Shiprock for
I
pretty
live
much all
around
your
the
life?
area, in the Four Corner area for many years.
Okay.
I grew up mainly in northeastern Arizona.
Okay. Also on the reservation, or?
Yeah.
Okay. So, just ask you the same question, like, what do you feel like are both like the positive things and the negative things that the coal plants bring to the community?
Well, positive. I remember the mine, the plant starting up in the 60s. And I thought it was a good idea, because it would provide like income for people. And then later on, I saw all the smog that's being produced, and then people started having respiratory problems, and I attributed, what the coal plants like put up in the air, to people's health, deteriorated around here. Then I go up in the mountains, back in like before the plants were built. You could see for miles, you could see like beautiful panoramic view of the mountains and all that stuff. And now you can't even see, sometimes. It's just so, polluted, smog-like. I used to live in California because I've seen the smog out there. It's the same here. Now, it's gotten worse within the last few years, maybe decades already. And
Yeah.
then, like in the mountains, I noticed that some of the evergreens, they're losing their leaves, like pine needles, and I think it's because of the pollution stuff that's being put out by the plants. And I've seen the leaves turning brown and they're dying. The trees are dying. I've seen a lot of that, which we didn't see. I didn't see when I was growing up there. Just go up in the mountains to take our livestock up in the mountains during the summer. And so that's basically it, So now I'm not really for the plants. I'm talking about building that desert rock, It's a proposal, and a lot of people are against it, but the tribal council and tribal chairman Joe Shirley is pushing it. And a lot of people over there, they're against it, That seems like they're not listening to the peoples. They're oppositions to it.
Have you seen health effects from the coal plants, like in your family and among your friends?
Pardon?
Could you talk a little bit about the health effects that you've seen from the coal plants, like among people like your family?
Well, the thing that there are more asthma,
Yeah.
My granddaughter has an asthma. And then one of my grandsons also has an asthma. You see a lot of that now that we didn't have before. Like sometimes, you can smell it, You can smell the pollution.
Why do you think they chose to build the plants here?
They chose what?
Why do you think they chose to build the plants here?
Probably because of the abundance of coal.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I heard is that there's a coal bed that extends out into northeastern Arizona. So eventually probably they're going to work their way out that way.
Yeah, they've already got one in Page.
Huh?
In Page, they have one too.
Yeah.
things like that.
I don't think they're paid enough compensation to the people who gave up their land to have their former grazing area, mine now. I think people weren't paid enough for all that trouble.
If you could like wave a magic wand and change the way that the coal plants were affecting the community, what would you do? Like,
Just like one plant.
yeah.
Probably have more restriction on what they can put up in the air, make it cleaner, safer. They clean up after themselves. So right now there's that New Mexico generating plant and water flow, there's the Arizona Public Service, probably more getting late, and then there's that Navajo generating plant on Kayenta, Peabody, and there's that APS, PNM, and then Arizona Public Service.
The Four Corners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know they polluting the water too.
Yeah, I noticed there was I drove up to the Four Corners plant and I saw there was a big lake out in front of it. I wouldn't really want to fish fish out of that lake.
Next question.
Yeah. Yeah, do you feel I noticed that that there's a lot of like agriculture in the area, like in that valley, sort of between the plants, like down by Fruitland. And that's mostly Navajo people there, right? Who live around there?
Well, there's Mesa Farm Road and let's see here. Well, people are not really farming like they used to.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of abandoned farmlands.
Yeah.
There are a lot of weeds overrunning the vacant lots. Then some of us, we try, that we work 8 to 5 or 9 to 6, and we don't have enough time to devote to farming. And then, so I don't know really. And then for myself,
How do you feel about the ways that Shiprock has changed in
change.
the time that you've lived here? Yeah.
It's gotten bigger.
Yeah.
It's gotten bigger. A lot more people are moving in from the rural area. I wouldn't really call Shiprock an urban area, but it was nice when it was small, I remember. And now it's gotten bigger, and it seems like neighbors don't know each other anymore, especially in the subdivisions. There's more crime, gangs, which we didn't have back when I was a kid. More stores, though.
Yeah.
It's the old trading post.
Yeah. That's cool. Do you have anything else you want to say about the plants?
Not really. I wish
Okay.
they would clean up the pollution.
Yeah.
Be a lot nicer, so we can breathe in fresh air.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.